I got a question. Are we needing our computer?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you guys can go ahead and open your computers. Yeah.
I think we're doing enough that, but I hate being sprayed. My dad got like 30 cameras.
Really?
Like in the back, like outside.
I couldn't do
Alright, you guys go to joinpd.com. Alright, joinpd.com. Code is F3ESNJ.
Did you know that bus would actually spray the
Alright, most everyone in? Alright, if you all did not get logged in, that's the best. Alright, it'll be at the top.
Alright guys, so earlier we started talking about writing argumentative papers, and today we will be talking about the end of those papers, which is conclusions. So, alright, to start. Writing a conclusion to your argument on whether homework is beneficial or not must contain at least 5 sentences. You guys have 10 minutes to do so. I think I added the thing to it.
Get a piece of paper out. There's paper up here if you guys need some. Now get your paper out. Get out your notes from earlier as well. Get out your notes from earlier as well. Raise your eyes, come
You know what? I'm just like,
I have no paper.
do you wash your clothes or wash your clothes? You wash your clothes?
So, you guys are going to have 10 minutes, and just what you're going to do basically is just going to wrap up your argument, and then after this we'll get into it further, so at the end of class we can actually put them together the correct way. I just want to see where you all are now on conclusions. Continue. Okay, go ahead and start the timer.
Writing our own conclusion?
Over the same topic you guys were talking about this morning. Use your notes. You know where the pencils are at.
finishing up. I think you guys got 2 more minutes. Move on. Go ahead and wrap it up. You guys just hold on to those until the end of class. You'll turn those in whenever we do after our big final conclusion is done. So, as I said, we're talking about conclusions today. It's to add on to what we discussed earlier.
You have to click on that side.
Just note, conclusion on no paper, so just on no paper.
Alright. So, what is conclusion? It is defined as the end or the finish to an event or process. It is also a judgment or decision reached by reasoning. So the conclusion basically will take everything in your paper, like the meat of it, and you're going to wrap it all up at the end, and you're going to basically just say everything you already said, but in fewer sentences. And eventually it'll lead to a call for action. So, why do we write them? To reassert the claims that we made, rephrase your thesis, and as I just said, a call for action. And what you've done so far, we discussed introduction today, claim, and counterclaim. And then this is just when we introduced the topic, which was, is homework beneficial? You started your claim whether you agree or disagree, and you backed your opinion with supporting evidence. It should be factual, and sources should be unbiased when we are using finding supporting evidence. And then you introduce the counterclaim as well, which is your counter argument or an opposing view. And so here's how we'll build our conclusions. We'll start with the topic sentence to reassert your thesis statement. And then we'll move on to supporting sentences from your supporting evidence prior. And it'll just summarize everything up that we've done in the body. We've not done the body paragraphs.
But we have the reasons.
So we have all the reasons. Then you'll relate back to the hook, whatever hook you used in the beginning. If you used a scenario, you'll finish off the scenario at the very ending. And then your closure, which is the call for action. So your topic sentence. Basically, it summarizes everything you said in your original thesis statement. It suggests to your reader that you have accomplished what you set out to accomplish. And it rephrases your thesis statement. You want your audience to be clear on what you're saying, and you want to give it a fresh and deeper understanding. And you do not want to bring new information into your conclusion. It is to finish everything out. If you have anything to bring back in, you'll do that in the body. So, there is a question on there, and it says, what is the main purpose of your topic sentence? You guys go ahead and answer that. Oh, I see the answers.
Do you want to show the answers?
Okay. Alright, so correct answer B is a summary of your thesis statement.
So amazing how it changed so quickly.
So strange. Okay, wonderful. Awesome.
Still going.
Good job.
Ms. Vogt, do
Yeah, just high
high
responses.
response, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
So close.
Alright. So then we'll move on to our supporting sentences. And they should summarize everything you said in the body of your essay. And like I just said earlier, if you have a new idea, we're going to keep that out. And if you want to use it, go back into your essay, and we'll throw it in there. Your supporting sentences should always have evidence behind them. You want to be able to support what you're saying. You don't want to say anything that isn't factual. And it should wrap up all the main points that you've had. So, what should your supporting sentences cover? Right. So it should be covering all of your supporting evidence from the body paragraphs. All right. So we wrote a hook in the beginning to get the audience's attention. And like I said earlier, we want to relate back to the hook. You want to, if you use a scenario, you want to finish that scenario. You want to round that idea, and you want to continue on with it. You want to give a closing, and if you begin talking about a specific example, like I said, end it. You want it to be the finishing dot. And then closure. So this is your closing sentence. It should be 1 to 2 sentences at the end. And your closing sentences should help the reader feel a sense of closure. Like they should feel that they know your argument and they know reasons why. And this is your last word. It's your clincher. Demonstrates how important your ideas are. Propels your reader to a new view of the subject. You usually want to end on a positive note. Your closing sentences should make your readers glad they read your paper and make them feel more informed of the subject as a whole. You don't want any cliffhangers. You don't want them asking questions about the subject at the end. You want them to know how you felt, and you want them to feel informed. And then you want to propose a course of action. So if you said that homework is not beneficial, and you gave reasons why, then talk about what should be done because of that. Like, schools should stop giving homework, or if you were for homework, schools should give more homework. Alright. And then draw what you think you should not include in your closing sentence.
Alright, here's an alternate instead of, okay, I'll let you guys do this, but then I also want you all to include on there, half of it should be split up. What if you guys could draw an image that you think represents a conclusion? What image do you think represents a conclusion? If you had to create an image that represents a conclusion.
Please stray away from that.
Dominic?
Guys.
Why is it
What are you drawing in gray? Say gray. Dominic, what are you drawing in gray?
Yeah.
That's hard.
I'm still working on my art.
It's the end of life.
The end.
And then Marissa, what's my eyeball?
Eat.
Who's Zaradine?
Remember, you
Why?
need something that closes up your argument.
Why?
Or an image that represents it.
Wait, what color
How weird is Zaradone?
is it? Color.
Why? How weird is Zaradone?
Okay, so I'm all set.
I didn't read.
We don't want those cliffhangers. Mine says, yeah, right. Let's go some more, hurry.
Whoa!
It's very colorful. Oh, get the camera.
I did the color.
If you need help.
Nothing.
Did you okay?
Oh, nothing.
I draw lines. Wyatt. I draw lines.
I accidentally took a screenshot of the
There's mine.
I took a screenshot.
It's not.
A burger.
Let's go back up to that burger because that looked like a good burger.
Let's not.
I think I'm
So
supposed to.
round space.
Alright.
No, it's okay. It'll be fine.
Alright. So here's some strategies to ensure that you have a strong conclusion. Use the so what strategy. So when you read your statement from the conclusion, ask yourself, so what? Why would anyone care? If you can't answer that, then you need to reevaluate and go back and redo it. And then think on that question and answer it. And now, which I'm going to walk around and help you all. Combine everything that you've done today and write a conclusion. And then remember what it needs in it. You need the thesis statement, or your topic sentence, your supporting evidence. Back up.
You're good.
Oh, it's the
Hey guys, you're not going to be right on that one, don't worry.
Oh, I wrote like
Supporting sentences
Copy
relate to your hook if you had one, or if it was a scenario. And then your closing sentences.
Alright, so instead of going to, instead of doing it on the assignment on Pear Deck, you guys are going to do it on Google Classroom. There's an assignment on there called Conclusions. Hang on, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Go to Google Classroom, click on Conclusions.
How do I erase?
What if I already made my conclusion?
You're going to make it better.
I think mine.
Alright, so you guys are going to make the conclusion better. You all need your notes that you all took this morning because that has your reasons. Your reasons are in your conclusion. You're going to refresh them, rephrase them.
We were trawling.
Alright, so on
Why does it
your
just say
computer.
Why does it just say free?
Alright, so on the conclusion assignment, you guys are going to add a job. On your conclusion assignment, this one's not going to be on paper. This one's going to be on.
It's about the homework, right?
Alright, it's about the homework, yes. Alright, remember, eyes up here. This slide has everything you need, all the components of a conclusion. You're going to be looking at the notes you all took this morning. Remember, what hook did you choose? You're going to have your topic sentence and reassert your thesis statement. You already wrote a thesis statement. Reasserting it means you're going to write it in another way. You don't want to repeat the exact sentence you already said. Say it in a different way. That's your first sentence. The second few sentences, this will be like about the 2 to 3 sentences, is going to be summarizing your main points. You don't want to summarize all your main points in one sentence because then you're going to have only a 3-sentence conclusion. And I'm going to take off points. The next part, you're going to summarize all main points. So every single reason you had, you do not want to include the counterclaim paragraph of the opposing side in your conclusion. Because that's going to get them thinking, oh, well, maybe the other person is right.
No.
Don't talk about the counterclaim in the conclusion. Then relate back to your hook, okay? If you started off with a scenario where you were talking about how you were absent for so long and therefore had 10 hours of homework, you're going to close it up with talking about that again. Your call to action. With homework, it is extremely easy to have a call to action because you're going to say, so therefore,
Don't do your homework.
Don't
listen to Blake. All right, so therefore, teachers should not require more homework for students. Okay? Or something along those
Are you
lines.
gonna read it?
Yes, you are. It's an assignment.
Yeah, but like, if I have like a really good reason why you shouldn't give out homework,
The only reason I give out homework is if people aren't working in class.
You can use the scenario.
That's the only reason I give it. All right, so go ahead and work on your conclusion.
In conclusion.
That's right there. Only there. Can you get started and write the conclusion first, and then you can?
Already wrote it, but
Where's your
already
next?
did just need to check it.
No, it's supposed to.
How about M back?
And then I would change.
Better.
So you're
Better.
already. So now you know what to do. Make sure you have
How many sentences should your conclusion be?
3. 5.
5. Let's go. Listen to Blake. Sorry, Blake's wrong then.
3 plus 2. Who knows? Maybe it's 5 lines. Can I do 5 lines? I got paid lines in 1 sentence.
Yeah.
Wait, I can fix this. I can fix this. It works. This is lines.
Make sure that you have your notes from earlier.
Why I homework and on paper. That's why. Ready to go.
Hey.
I know, that's what we started doing. So when they go to watch
So, with this, your talking sentence. So that was
Why are my earlobes?
So your talking sentence is gonna restart your mistake.
I do not appreciate you throwing my earlobe.
So basically, you rewrite your sentence where the bottom part is first, and then the first part is second.
Quite comfortable. I got 2 sentences.
Yo,
Yeah, you 3 more.
I have.
That's not fair.
But it is.
It's not though, 'cause it's up there.
Hey,
Why would you say 5 sentences bad? See why it's not 5 sentences Shush, White. Nobody asked you. Just 2. Yeah, that's right. He's cheating.
That you being a letdown to your friends is
So kind of finished my story, so therefore there was no last homework.
Yes,
and
but-
you get to spend more time.
Spencer, why were you a disappointment to your friends? Got it. It's a quality statement. It's kind of correct. I mean,
So we're going to get this is kind of fun. So don't only count like an introduction. That's something else.
quit poking my arm.
So you're gonna start with
Why? If you don't stop moaning in my pillow. Shush. You're about 5 sentences apiece.
So did you go over all 3 reasons, Jake, that you had? Yep. As soon as
I got 3 sentences.
2 more. You should look like, okay, so all of the reasons you used earlier today, do you have 3?
like not too fast.
Oh, the biggest 3 hours.
We should all
Yeah, I need less.
find out where.
I want to help you figure this out. How would it be beneficial to small children?
Shut up.
Moaning at your lobe and help me.
No, it should all be longer school days. No. Yes. I think so.
The first part is you start your There's a lot of talking for people who are not finished. What's my rule if you finish? 3. Or you all can take a break because progress report's coming out soon.
2 days, to be exact.
So, your second one. That was all my chance.
Stop.
You're going to talk phrases.
I got 4 sentences now. What? You need to stop.
2 sentences.
Sheridan.
Yeah.
My mom beat me with a
Homework.
Give us liberty.
Stop.
What am I doing?
Once you finish, turn it in. Jane, if you want to check your grades, you can. Or you can read.
I'm done.
Actually, you can library turn that over. Alright, give me your Jen.
Is that a Band-Aid commercial?
No, it's Cheerios.
Alright, you can talk on topic. I don't know that. People are not finished around you. What? Are people not finished around you?
Okay, why? What's your grade?
Hey guys, if you're done with typing conclusions, the ones you wrote at the beginning of class, put them in the turn-in
I
box.
got you, man.
Conclusion. Conclusion, you go to class, turn that in, and then. Relate back to me. So then we'll talk about all the homework you gotta make up.
Alright. My grades are terrible. But it's okay.
Yes, you may.
We're done with computers, right?
Once you turn it in, yes.
Gotcha.
Miss Bo.
No, Spencer, ask me something.
Or I can have that tomorrow. But yes.
I never.
Okay, so now you have.
Oh, that's like
Gosh.
Time to do eyes. Oh my, okay, yeah, I got one.
Hey, why is it so small?
I'm not sure about it. I don't care. So you see how this thing.
How to get rolled.
So closure is.
Alright, once you're finished, make sure your original conclusion gets in the turn-in box. Alright, put your notes away from yesterday, or from this morning,
Gotcha. Now what?
and then close your computer and put it away. Where did this share from?
I'm over here leaving my stuff on my desk. What do you
Earlier.
Okay, then what?
I was here earlier.
Well, I get all you say, now what?
Alright, computers away. Make sure the original inclusion gets in the turn-in box.
What are y'all talking about now?
Alright, 2 or 3 minutes, finish this work.
As a friendly.
No, they're not.
Look at this.
These are not fake. Bro, don't even try this.
Well, you actually started.
Right there.
By the red light.
Oh, there. Oh, dang.
Dominic kept wanting me.
Hi, camera.
That's how you get suspended.
I came up here, I went like this.
Oh no!
What's it about again?
28 stab.
You don't need play dark side.
Alright, next one. Here's what it is.
Oh, someone high five.
Chinchillas? Do you even know what a chinchilla looks like? Because I sure don't.
I just had my pencil like this and
Whoa, Wyatt, what'd you do that for?
Hey.
Why'd you push me, Dominic?
Let's show off what? Let's show off your friend in the scale. Who wants to take her job? Yeah, throw that from the
Like cheeks. Sweet Caroline. Yeah, I think so. Sweet Caroline.
Bum, bum, bum.